आता आलो आलो म्हणते का आलो झूम टू फाइंड कनेक्टेड रिमाइंडर पोझिशन ऑफ नियर बाय डिव्हाइस. ते अजून 2 टाक आले की पण.
I request all the students to go on mute. I request all the participants to be on mute. The meeting will start at sharp 5 p.m. Just be on mute because it is in YouTube live. So all our recording sounds and all those visuals are going on live. So I request each and every student to be on mute, and the meeting will start sharp at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Dear all, good evening. We will be starting the meeting within 4 to 5 minutes.
Vivek, we can get started.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Has Aradhana joined?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Hi, Aradhana.
Hello, ma'am.
Dear all beloved Vidyadhan family members, good evening to all of you. It is with great pleasure and honor that I stand before you today to inaugurate the opening ceremony of the Vidyadhan Civil Services Club's online session. This momentous occasion marks the beginning of an exciting journey where we come together to learn, grow, and strive for excellence in our pursuit of civil services. In this digital age, where the world has become a global village, we are fortunate to have the opportunity to connect and collaborate virtually. Through this online session, we can break barriers of distance and come together as a cohesive unit, sharing knowledge, experiences, and strategies that will propel us towards success. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the members of the Vidyadhan Civil Services Club for their dedication, enthusiasm, and unwavering commitment. Your presence here today exemplifies your passion for public service and your determination to excel in your chosen field. Finally, I urge each and every one of you to make the most of this online session, embrace the opportunities it presents, actively participate in question and answer session. Remember, the path to success may be demanding, but together we can overcome any obstacle and achieve our goals. Once again, I welcome you all to the opening ceremony of Vidyadhan Civil Services Club's online session. Thank you, and let the online session begin. Now, I would like to call Ms. Sangeeta, our student from Tamil Nadu, to give the welcome address. Sangeeta, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sangeeta. You are welcome to our inauguration of Vidyadhan Civil Service Club. I am happy to see you together here. A big thanks to each and everyone present here for joining our program. I'd like to welcome Meera Ma'am, National Program Director at Vidyadhan, Pankaj Sir, ex-civil servant and Principal Consultant at Vidyadhan, Aradhika Nair Ma'am, the scholar to clear UPSC from Vidyadhan. Last but not least, I welcome all the students present here and thank you everyone for joining.
Hey, wait, you are on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Now I would like to call Pankaj Tripathi, sir, Principal Consultant SDF, to talk about Vidyadhan Civil Services Club and its objectives and how it is going to run from now onwards. He is a former civil servant in Government of India and has been working as a Principal Consultant at Vidyadhan from 2019 onwards. Sir, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Vivek. And start with congratulating Radhika on her success in the civil services examination. So we are all proud of her. Radhika Nair from Kerala. Besides Radhika, this year there have been at least 4 Vidyadhan scholars who have qualified the prelims, and they have started their preparations for the mains examination. So congratulations to all of them. 2 of them I know personally. I've spoken to them, Anusha and Akshay. So there are 2 other students, I think, from Kerala. They have also qualified. They've got through the prelims examination. So congratulations to everyone, to all 5 of them. And then I would also like to wish Praveen. He was a key member of the old Vidyadhan cohort on civil services. He's joined. So happy birthday, Praveen! And he's now working in a court. Don't know the exact designation, but is now and preparing for the civil services also. So in this for this inaugural session, I've noted down a few points in terms of how we plan to move ahead on in this journey, and so I just kind of read them out, and then we can discuss it further, because what our experience more than a year back was that the entire process evolves, and it kind of changes with time. So that we will do as it goes on. But in the beginning, we'll set certain kind of guidelines for the club to work. So I'll start now. The main premise behind starting this the Vidyadhan Civil Services Club is that the basic premise is that that group or peer group learning is an important element of the civil services preparation, even though most times it is a solo journey. So this is our premise. We'll return to it again at the end of 3-4 minutes, and that is that group or peer group learning is an important element of the civil services preparation, even though most of the times it's a solo journey. So objective. So the objective of the Civil Services Club is to facilitate Vidyadhan scholars who wish to take the civil services examination during the course of their preparation. To facilitate Vidyadhan scholars who wish to take the civil service examination during their preparation. And this would include some form of financial support once they clear the preliminary examination. So that is the basic objective, to facilitate Vidyadhan scholars, whoever wants to take the civil service examination. In terms of who can join the club, so all Vidyadhan students who are interested in taking the civil service examination can theoretically join, but since the numbers might be too large, so in the first phase we will have students who are in the final year of graduation. That is either in the third year of BSc, BA, BCom, or 4th year of engineering, MBBS, or a 4-year integrated course. These students can join the Civil Services Club. There'll be, since there might be a number of students who might be in the 1st year or 2nd year, and they might be wanting to start the preparation, and they might be needing, a group, a platform like this to, so for them, what we plan is that we will organize monthly meetings, once a month meetings, for students who are in the 1st year and 2nd year of their graduation. And and then again, as I said, it's a very evolving journey. So it's a am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, Pankaj, you are.
Okay, thank you. So that would be, the core group would be the ones who are in their final year, and then we'll have another broader group who might be interested in taking the CSE, but they are in their 1st or 2nd years of preparation. In terms of format, how do we run the club? So we plan to do it on a weekly basis, hold weekly meetings, and the point person from, there will be a point person from the Vidyadhan team side, and for example, Vivek, who is the master of ceremonies here. So Vivek or someone else would be there to fix the date of the meeting and the times and all. But what we'll try to do is that we'll have a designated day and time, and we'll try to stick to it. And there might be a little bit of flexibility in terms of a day or here and there because of your exams or something, but we'll try to stick to this and format. So finally, Vidyadhan students, and a format of weekly meetings. Okay, yeah. And the same person from the Vidyadhan team, for example, such as Vivek, so he would be the point person as we move along. So he'll be taking your feedback. So he'll be taking your feedback because, after all, we are all, I'm an old person in terms of, the civil services examination has changed a lot. So, it it would be important for the students to kind of regularly give their feedback, and there should be a person so that we can evolve, and we can get more and more people involved, which would, yeah, I'll come to that later again. So the feedback will help us in moving in a positive direction, and not stagnate. Point number 4, the club will discuss all dimensions of the preparation, but will have general studies as its main focus. So in terms of the subject matter, since, as you all know, the prelims, of course, is GS, and then again in the mains, there are 2 big papers of GS, and then there's an optional 2. So the focus here, we can discuss about, how to prepare this, that, different books, but the focus would be on general studies. In terms of, this is a major practical issue we saw last time when we were doing it in a much smaller format. In terms of commitment, so we'll have some kind of a framework. I'm just suggesting this here. So one framework would be that any member who's not able to attend the Civil Services Club's meetings, say all the 4 meetings in a month, so 4 out of 4, a girl or a boy is not able to attend, so they can then withdraw on a voluntary basis. And if they wish and they feel that it is contributing to they find it important enough or they find it useful, they can rejoin after 3 months. So some kind of a commitment in terms of attendance. Um, Again, we'll see that later on there'll be other issues of commitment. And these are, I mean, this is not in terms of a negative way, because all of you are studying. So you'll be in different classes. So you'll be in graduation or final year. You'll have your exams, assignments, and all. So that of course takes kind of precedence over an examination which you're planning for. So it's understandable, but we just want to since we'll have a bit of writing practice, question answers and all. So if you don't attend, then neither would you be submitting any replies which can be assessed. Or so in that sense we are bringing some kind of a commitment from your side into the framework. Yeah, so the issue of if we are doing any special sessions, so there'll be an intimation, we'll try and get some civil service servants who are serving or who are, retired, so to talk to you all. So, or some other domain experts, people from who might not be from the civil services, but who are actually actively engaged in coaching students who are aware of the trends. And so we'll try and get those on board. So there'll be an announcement regarding that a few days before the next club meeting. Yeah, so and this point which I had mentioned earlier, that the other Vidyadhan scholars, interested in CSC but not in their final year. So for them, we'll plan to hold a monthly meeting, and so once we devise this, we'll Vivek will share more information on this. So, and the final point is that the club it'll be run by the Vidyadhan team and the club members on an equal basis. Why we say this is that as we move along, uh, based on our early experience, we see that the current trends in terms of thought and in terms of what is important, what the trends are. So these would most probably come from you. They are likely to come from you, and so that is how we try and keep this on an equal footing in terms of the Vidyadhan team and the club members. So yeah, these are the main points to set the ball rolling for the Civil Services Club, and we can then take it forward. And it's very important that this session, of course, is has got to be a little formal and big in size, but to have a frank exchange of ideas, it'll be very important for us to be informal, come to be very forthright with our views and how to take this club forward. So basically what I mean to say is that we'll all be stakeholders in this, in the actual running of the club. So all the very best, and we'll keep seeing you on a weekly basis. Yeah, Vivek. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for briefing about the club. Now I would like to call Ms. Aradhika Nair, the first scholar from our Vidyadhan family to clear UPSC. She is the best outgoing student from during higher secondary and graduation as well. She scored 100% in her higher secondary, and she is a rank holder both in her undergraduation and post-graduation. Now she has successfully cleared UPSC in her second attempt. Ma'am, would you please come?
Hello. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. as Vivek mentioned, I'm Aradhika Nair. I have secured All India rank 491 in this year's civil service examination. And I'm very glad to be a part of this meeting because a new civil service club is getting started within the Vidyadhan family. And I'm sure that a lot of you are going to get benefited from it. I would say guidance is very important to clear this exam. So if you're able to acquire some kind of guidance and insights from all those people around you, especially from the club, so I think you should definitely make use of it. So today I am asked to talk to you about my journey from from school to civil service. So I think I will start by giving a brief introduction about me. I am basically a native from Trivandrum district in Kerala, and my family comprised of my father, mother, and sister. So I have done my schooling from Trivandrum itself, and later I have completed graduation and post-graduation in physics from University of Kerala. Okay, sorry. And about civil services, I think it actually started as a childhood dream because as I mentioned, I studied in Cottonwood School, which is considered to be one of the largest girls' school in Asia. So we used to have a lot of civil servants coming there to inaugurate various functions. So I got a chance to interact with them at a very young age, which actually inspired me to think about a career in civil services. And later, I happened to clear an entrance examination to give free coaching to students from classes 8 to 9, which was conducted by an academy. So I was able to avail free coaching for civil service from class 8 to 12, which I think was a turning point in my journey with regard to civil services. And after that, I did my college, and after my post graduation, I started preparing seriously for civil services. And this was my second attempt. In my first attempt, I couldn't clear prelims. I would say as you get into the journey of civil service, you will be having a very extensive syllabus, a very somewhat tough syllabus because you have to study a lot of subjects that you are not that much acquainted with. So I would say try to give your efforts, try to believe in your hard work. And I also need to mention about the aspect of stress management because during my first attempt, I really struggled with stress management. So I would say you have to focus on your hobbies as well, apart from the civil service preparation as well, and try to have a kind of holistic preparation. And if you're someone who are actually in the last year of college, I would say try to develop a habit of reading an English newspaper. And also you can start reading the NCRTs as well. So I would say before getting into the actual full swing preparation, if you're able to have this somewhat knowledge about a newspaper, about the current happenings around us, and also if you're able to have some hold over the NCRTs as well, then you'll be able to face the examination with much more confidence. So if you're someone in college, I would say try to develop these things. Also, as Sir mentioned, many of you are in college, some in final year and some in first and second years. So try to enjoy your college life, but at the same time, try to develop a balance where you'll be able to manage your academics as well as the civil service preparation. But at the same time, you also try to focus on the extracurricular activities as well and try to enjoy your college life. But at the same time, if you're able to bring a balance between the academics and civil service preparation, that will really help you. Because if I personally talk about my case, I started preparing, I started with NCRTs right from my college days. So when I started preparing seriously after my college, it was very easy for me to have a general idea about the subjects that I want to study. So also try to develop a habit of reading a newspaper as well. And as I mentioned, also try to focus on stress management as well. And the last thing I want to mention is many times there are a lot of times in which we get overwhelmed by the syllabus because the syllabus is very vast and you have to study a lot of subjects that you haven't studied for very long years. For example, in my case, I have done my graduation, post-graduation in physics. But after then, I have to study subjects like economics, geography, and history. So many times you'll be having a lot of self-doubt about your preparation. So I think self-doubt is one of the worst things that you can do to yourself during this journey. So I would say try to focus on your efforts, try to focus on things that you can control, and always have this belief in your mind that if you are giving enough efforts and if you are giving everything you can within your capacities, within your limitations, then you'll be able to clear. Have that hope in you every time. And also, if you want to reach out to me, you can ask my contact details from Vivek. So always free feel to reach to me if you want to communicate. And I'm very happy to be a part of this meeting, and my all the best to everyone in the club. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the inspirational and informative words, ma'am. Dear all, now the platform is for question and answer session. Participants, please come on the video and ask your questions.
Vivek, just one comment like on what it was really lovely to listen to Aradhika, and very all the points that's what we used to talk, and we totally endorse this, that she's just touched the very fundamentals of how to go about starting your preparation, and how to build a solid platform. And these two things are like invaluable. This reading of a good English newspaper on a daily basis, thinking about the newspaper, what you have read, discussing it if possible with the friends, and the NCERT books. So absolutely gem of suggestion. I mean, these thoughts are really, they're very, very important, and everyone can learn from this. Yeah, just these comments. Yeah. Go ahead.
Students, please come on the video and ask your questions.
Or you can type out in the chat box also if you have any questions. If nobody has a question, I have a question, Aradhya.
Hi, madam.
Yeah, Harish, go ahead.
Firstly, congratulations to Aradhika, madam.
Thank you.
Okay. Madam, my question is how to prepare mains along with prelims.
Okay, actually, I would say you have to start with mains preparation, because in prelims you have to mug up you have to pay attention to a lot of factual knowledge, but in mains you have to develop a kind of holistic understanding about the subject. So I would say you have to start with the mains preparation. And so personally, what I did was I joined an institute. So I used to follow the classes there. I tried to follow the classes regularly, and I used to try to revise the notes. And normally by the end of December, there will be this prelims test series. So I used to follow the timetable diligently, especially for prelims. So for prelims, you have to get into the habit of solving these multiple choice questions. And especially if you look at the question paper of the past few years, the prelims is getting a little bit tough and a little bit random. So you have to have this hold of this factual knowledge, for which revision is also very important. So I would say for prelims, you have to focus on the key books, but for prelims, you have to read those books with the idea by focusing on the factual knowledge, especially for prelims. And you have to get into the habit of solving the MCQs and try to solve a test series properly, so that you can cover all the subjects mentioned for the prelims mentioned in the prelims syllabus. And when it comes to mains, you have to develop this kind of holistic understanding of the subject. So many times it happens that we may not be getting a direct question from what we have studied in mains, but at the same time you'll be able to write those answers based on the holistic understanding that you have from the syllabus. So I would say you have to start with the mains preparation, and I think after you get into a hold of the preparation, you can join a test series, join a proper test series, and then start solving the questions, so that you develop a habit of solving the MCQs. For mains, you have to write the descriptive answers. So you also need to focus on developing these answer writing skills. So I would say the subjects that you study are mostly similar, but at the same time, for prelims, you have to pay more attention to the factual details But at the same time, for mains, you have to develop this kind of holistic understanding. Yes.
Thanks, madam.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Hello.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
How
evening.
many hours do you study in a day for UPSC, ma'am?
Okay. Actually, the studying hours may depend. It completely depends on the person. So I used to study around 6 to 7 hours. I used to go to a reading room. So I used to study there. So in the reading room, I used to spend around 6 to 7 hours. And after that, I will come home and then I will read the newspaper. So that used to be my like my daily routine. So, but if you're a person who finds like if we can give in more hours consecutive more hours, then you can also definitely give more hours, because I have friends who study for 10 to 12 hours. But whatever you do, try to do it in a consistent basis. Like if you're able to study for 6 to 7 hours daily, then that will be very beneficial, rather than putting some 14 to 15 hours in a day and then not studying for a lot of days ahead. So I would say if you're able to study for some 6 to 7 hours or 8 hours daily in a consistent manner, then it will definitely benefit. So I used to study for some 6 to 7 hours, and after that I used to spend around 1 to 1.5 hour for reading the newspaper. Yes.
Good evening. Good evening, ma'am. First of all, congratulations for getting into this holy book.
Thank
So
you.
I have two questions, ma'am. First question, like, is it necessary to take coaching? And my second question is, usually people will tell that we should do reverse engineering when it comes to preparation. Like we should check the old question papers and the pattern what it is following. But when we see the last prelim paper, the whole pattern has changed. So is there any need to change strategy when compared to old question papers and this last year's prelims paper, like this year's prelim paper?
Okay. Okay. So the first question was about coaching, right? So I would
Yes,
say
ma'am.
there are a lot of people who clear the exam with self-preparation. But what I personally feel is that if you have the right guidance, then it will make your journey so easy. Because if you're taking a coaching or if you're taking guidance from a person who already has experience of writing the civil service examination, then I think the mentor will be able to guide you, and the mentor will be able to pick out your mistakes, and you'll be able to improve yourself in a much more. You'll be able to improve yourself quickly. So I would say if you are able to take guidance from a person uh, like that you have currently now with the civil service club, if you have the right guidance, then it will make your journey so easy. So I would say always make sure that you are getting guidance or help from a person, especially when it comes to the answer writing, which is the part of the mains. So I would say I won't say that coaching is important, but I would definitely say that getting the right guidance is very important. So always try to reach out to people who will be able to guide you throughout the civil service examination. So I would say guidance is very important. And secondly, with respect to the second question was about the prelims this year, because this year the pattern was a lot different. So normally in prelims, we'll be able to like eliminate some options. So we'll be able to solve the questions in a much more easy manner. But this year the questions, I felt the questions were a lot random. At the same time, the CSAT paper was also really difficult. So I would say, rather than changing the strategy, try to try to be very thorough about the basics of all the subjects mentioned in the prelim syllabus. Like once you're thorough with the subjects, somehow we'll be able to eliminate a lot of options, and you'll be able to arrive at the answers quickly. So I would say try to revise the fundamentals. Try to be very strong with the fundamentals of the UPSC syllabus, especially in the prelims like the Lakshmikant, when it comes to polity, or the aspects of the economics, the theories or concepts of economics. So try to be very thorough with those basic concepts in preparation with respect to the prelims. And also, since the UPSC has changed the pattern, I would say you have to get you have to get the habit of solving questions in the similar pattern. So I think next year when you give prelims, you'll be solving the test series questions from a lot of institutes, which are available for free. So I would say try to solve the questions and try to get a habit of solving the questions, solving the MCQs, so that when you are actually giving the examination within the stress of the exam hall, you'll be able to handle the questions. So I would say try to be thorough with the basics, and then try to solve the test series very diligently, so that you get the habit of solving the MCQs. And if you're properly following a test series, I think you'll be able to eliminate the options, and you'll be able to solve the questions, I think. So I would say do these two things with respect to the prelims preparation.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I am Sheikh Rufat, ma'am.
Okay.
My question is about, ma'am, as you had prepared for civil services examination after getting into the IIT, ma'am, MSc Physics.
No, I was studying in University of Kerala, not in IIT.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, maintaining both MSc Physics and how to maintain MSc Physics and for all the civil services, ma'am.
Okay, you mean how to balance the preparation with the college, right? Okay. So I would say during the college, the academics is very important. So you have to focus on the academics, which is very important. But I would say try to bring a balance between the academics and the civil service preparation, right? Because while I was in college, I had this mindset that I will try to study those things that will not affect my academics in the college. So I used to read the NCRTs. I used to read a newspaper, and in class, so that I will be able to solve the test. So for the purpose of solving the test. So I would say try to focus on the aspects of reading the newspaper and the NCRTs, which I think will be able to, which is manageable in my opinion, because even in college you'll get a lot of free time, right? So I think try to manage this reading newspaper as well as NCRTs with the academics. And but in college, I think especially try to enjoy the college life as well, because you'll not be going back to those days, right? So try to enjoy the college life, but at the same time focus on your academics, and then try to balance the preparation to the point that it will not affect your academics. Okay.
At present, I'm studying BSc Statistics third year, ma'am.
Okay.
So I'm planning to do masters in statistics in IIT, ma'am. So after when I gone to the PG or to do MSc, ma'am, I'm planning to take options as my statistics, and I want to go for civil services, ma'am.
Okay.
So when I said these about to the so many members and lecturers also, as they're saying, getting into the civil services is about to studying about to 17 to 18 hours a day, and it is not possible to maintain both MSc and civil service at a time, ma'am. So up to now, I had so much confusion, ma'am. But I thought whatever will be the situation, I have to do both MSc and I have to prepare civil services, ma'am.
Okay. So firstly, I think studying around 17 to 18 hours daily is not humanly possible in my opinion. So I would say if you get into an IIT, I think the syllabus will also be very hectic. And since you have the intention to select statistics as your optional, I think that will be an added advantage. So if you focus on your academics diligently, then it will help you to score very good marks in your optional subject. So I would say focus on your academics there. And I think if you're getting into an IIT, then I think IIT offers a lot of, the syllabus is very flexible, right? Because I have heard about toppers saying about the humanities courses that they have done in IIT along with their engineering graduation. So I would say try to explore those aspects that would be able to do in IIT. But at the same time, I think focus on the academics there, because if the syllabus is hectic, then focus on the academics. And personally, actually, I completed my MSc in 2020, and then I took a 1 year break, and then I prepared for civil services. So actually, I had this intention that I will take a year break and then prepare for civil service. So I was not that much stressed about civil service preparation during my PG. So if you are trying to take them both together, then I definitely will be that you have to give more hours. but try to balance both. If you are not able to balance, I think you should always focus on the academics more than civil service preparation, in my opinion, because if you focus on academics, then you are definitely going to benefit in your optional. And also, I think when it comes to your interview as well, then if you have a very good academic background, I think you'll be able to give a very good first impression before the board members. So I would say you have to focus on your academics then, but try to balance.
Thank you.
Aradhya, did you take the same subject?
Hello, ma'am.
Physics as optional? For
No, ma'am. I actually took Malayalam literature as my optional because when I went through the previous physics question papers, I felt that it would be a little more risky to take physics because if the question paper is easy, then you'll be able to score good marks. But there are also chances that the question paper might get tough. Then you'll be getting very low marks. So I thought it would be risky. So I actually chose Malayalam language and literature. Since I also had this flair for writing, I used to participate in essay writing competitions and poetry writing as well. And I also have this habit of reading Malayalam literature. So I thought Malayalam language and literature will be better for me.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
Ma'am, my name is Panshu. First of all, I want to congratulate you for the clearing the India's first exam, UPSC.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I generally want to ask that one question. Is it necessary to read world history? Because as I have analyzed 2013 years onwards paper, that there is not much question or there is a no question at all from the world history as such. So I want to ask that, is it necessary to read this?
Okay. Okay, as I told you, I actually took coaching from an institute. So they actually taught world history. So I had studied world history during my first attempt, but I couldn't clear prelims during that attempt. So in my second attempt, I actually skipped world history altogether because I had this thought that even if you put in a lot of hours, we will not be getting questions from it. So I actually skipped world history altogether in my second attempt. But since I have studied those topics in my first attempt, I had this idea that I will be able to write some answer if questions are getting asked. So I would say rather than skipping it altogether, try to have a general understanding of the major topics like the Industrial Revolution or the World Wars. So try to have a general understanding of the topic so that you'll be able to write some points if questions are getting asked. But personally, I skipped world history altogether because I was convinced that I will be able to write some answers if questions are getting asked. But I think in the past 2 years, no questions have been asked from that part. So I won't say that you have to skip it altogether because it is very risky if you skip it and they may ask 2 or 3 questions, or sometimes they may ask 2 questions. So I would say try to have a general understanding about the major topics rather than skipping it altogether.
There are a couple of questions on the chat. I'll just go through. So there is a question on, shall we write the exam in Tamil or is it better to write in English? Do you have any views on that?
Okay, ma'am, I think we can write the exam in any of the language that we choose. But I think it would be better if you are able to write it in English. But that's not mandatory, right? You can write the exam in any of the language that you want. And also, even when you appear for the interview, you always have this choice of using a translator. But I personally feel that if you have time to improve upon the English language, and if you have adequate time to improve upon your writing skills or speaking skills, then I would definitely say that try to improve upon the language, because once you get into a service, you'll be like, you may want to deal with a lot of paperwork, etc. in English. So I would say always try to improve upon the language, but I think there are chances that you can write the exam in any of the language. I think there are some scheduled languages in the constitution, so you can write exam in any of the languages.
Manoranjan, can you please mute yourself? Vivek, can you please mute?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, there are a couple of questions around the interview and how did you prepare for the interview? what was the striking questions you faced in the interview? So can you just share your experience, how you prepared for the interview as well as what actually happened?
Okay. For the interview, actually the mains results came in December, and my interview was actually on May. So I had a lot of time to prepare for interview. And for interview, I have joined a few institutes in Trivandrum. So I used to take guidance from them. I used to attend mock interviews there. I used to attend this one-on-one sessions from there. So I think for interview, you have to get into the habit of speaking, because normally in prelims and mains, we are actually we are very isolated and we are preparing. But when it comes to interview, that aspect of peer-to-peer learning comes very important in interview. So I would say for interview, my interview, the board was very cordial. And actually, before the interview, we actually gave a detailed application form mentioning our academics, about our hobbies, achievements, etc. So mostly my questions were from my detailed application form. So I think because of that fact, I was able to answer them in a better way. I actually got some questions from the current affairs, and there were also a few questions related to Kerala, like tourism, about the pandemic, and also about the Nipah outbreak. And one striking question I think was about Raja Ravi Verma. Like out of the blue, the member asked about Raja Ravi Verma, about to mention about few paintings drawn by them. So I think that was a few questions were from randomly they asked a few questions. But overall, the board were very cordial, and I think my score were also pretty good. My scores were also pretty good in interview. I would say for interview, you have to focus on the detailed application form that you gave before we actually filled detailed application form before the interview. So the interview board will have a copy of our detailed application form with them. So there are high chances that they might ask questions from it. So for interview, I would say you have to be very thorough with the detailed application form that you're giving to the board. At the same time, you have to get in the habit of speaking, for which you can get help from your friends or from the institute as well.
Okay. So another question on, how did you change your strategy after the first attempt?
Okay, I would say in the first attempt, I couldn't clear prelims. When I look back now, I think the major issue was about stress management. So I was very stressed in the exam hall, and in my first prelims, in the first or second question, I actually marked an option wrong. We actually have the MCQ model questions in the prelims GS1. So actually, I marked one question wrong, and after that, I get a lot stressed after that. So I would say the stress management is going to be a very crucial element when it comes to the prelims preparation. And in the second attempt, I actually started focusing more on my hobbies. Like I started journaling, I started walking, and these two were the hobbies which I also mentioned in my detailed application form this year. So I would say you have to focus on your hobbies, so you have to focus on something that will help you relieve your stress. And secondly, I think in the first attempt, I was not I lacked somewhere when it comes to self-belief. So I always had this thought in my mind that I will not be able to clear prelims, I will not be able to clear the exam. So I always had this negative thoughts in my mind, and I was also very much stressed about my preparation. Like I was so stressed that I was not able to study at one point of time during my first attempt. So I would say you have to along with the part of acquiring knowledge, you also have to focus on how to manage your stress and how to have this habit of how to develop this self belief in yourself, so that at the end of the day you have to believe in your efforts. You have to make sure that you are putting in the efforts, and you'll be able to reap reward for all the efforts that you have put in. So I would say have this habit of try to manage your stress levels, and at the same time you have to develop this self belief in the efforts that you are giving. And I also say that in the second attempt, I was more prepared with respect to the syllabus as well. So I think that aspect also added to my confidence in my second attempt. And in the second attempt, compared to the first attempt, you actually have completed the syllabus one time in the second attempt. So I think that will add to your confidence. And also in the second attempt, I joined an institute. From there, I got really good mentors. So they helped me to correct my mistakes in answer writing. They really helped me to develop this logical reasoning with respect to the prelims questions. So I would say guidance is very important. So that's why I've stressed on the aspect of guidance before as well. So if you are getting guidance, like ample guidance from a person who have actually gone through this entire examination process, I think that will make your journey so easy, which I think actually worked in my second attempt as well. So I would say focus on your efforts, focus on stress management. At the same time, you have to get help from a mentor so that you'll be able to pick out your mistakes quickly and you can also work on them after.
Okay. There is one question on the mistakes. What are the common mistakes one does in preparing for UPS exams?
Okay. First thing I would say will be that not completing the syllabus, because to get that confidence that we can clear the exam, you have to first clear the syllabus. So I would say try to give an adequate time to complete the syllabus. And then these days, if you look at the prelims paper, we have a lot of random questions, which you'll be able to crack if you have the habit of reading the newspapers. Because if you are completely focusing on some compilations released by an institute, then you will not be able to like crack a lot of questions. So if you have this habit of reading a newspaper, then that's really going to help, not just in the prelims but also in mains. Thirdly, I would say if you're not giving proper focus on answer writing, then that can also be an issue, because after prelims you'll be getting a very like an amount of some 2 to 3 months, around 3 months for mains preparation. So if you have this habit of answer writing, if you're equipped with some skills to write a proper answer, then that's really going to help. So actually, after my first attempt, I started a program with both exams for mains and prelims. So I did not attend any classes, but I joined an institute to write exams every weekend. So I think it actually helped to improve my answer writing skills. So I would say if you have this, if you like seek the help of a mentor so as to improve your answer writing skills. And if you're someone who is not writing answers before prelims and is suddenly getting into an entire mains preparation mode, so I think that can be really detrimental to a great extent. So I would say have this habit of writing answers beforehand. And fourthly, I would say about essay. So even before prelims, try to start writing essays, because this year the essay paper was very I won't say tough, but the marking was very random. So a lot of people, especially there were toppers who chose English literature as optional, even they faced issue with respect to the essay paper. So I would say also give enough focus on your essay. And then I would say optional is very important, because optional mark is something that can, like if you're getting good score in your optional, that can ensure that you are getting a place in the final list. So I would say focus on your optional as well, and try to select a syllabus in which you have adequate amount of interest. Because for me, even though I had completed my graduation and post graduation in physics, I did not choose physics because the questions I felt were somewhat tricky and the paper can be risky at at various levels. So I would say try to choose a subject in which you are confident to write. Like you have to complete 2 papers, right? You have to write for 500 marks in 2 papers in essay in optional. So I would say choose your optional also very wisely. Uh, and also, as SAR stressed before, even though UPSC is a solo journey, you have to give adequate importance to the peer-to-peer learning as well. So in my first attempt, since it was COVID, we were all very isolated. So the preparation was entirely individual. But in second attempt, we also had like a peer group. So we were able to discuss things. We were able to like support each other in learning. I think that can also be crucial. So I would say try to develop a peer group who will support each other throughout the journey. So I say these are the things that you have to keep in mind.
There are a couple of questions. Which
Hello?
service have you got now? IAS, IFS, RS, and are you going for third attempt?
Okay, actually, I gave prelims this year, but there are slight chances that I may get foreign service this year. So if I'm getting into foreign service, then I might not be appearing because service allocation is yet to come. So they will release service allocation list in, I would say, like in some 2 or 3 weeks. So after that, I will decide whether to continue with it or not. Hello.
Yes. Yeah. Students, yeah, I think we have covered most questions in the chat box. So
Yes.
if
Madam, one
students
question.
want to ask, yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Madam, one question. How to make notes from current affairs and how to manage current affairs revision?
Okay.
How
Okay. I would
important
say.
current affairs?
Okay. So the current affairs is very important because in prelims you'll be getting direct questions about the places mentioned in the newspaper or about some of the concepts. For example, if there is some concept related to economics being mentioned in the newspaper, then you may get questions directly from it in the prelims paper. And also in mains, you'll be able to give better examples if you're following current affairs diligently. And also when it comes to some subjects like international relations, it is entirely based on current affairs. So I would say current affairs preparation is very important. So what I did was I used to read newspapers regularly, and I used to take notes out of it. Like I actually had a notebook where I divide the notebook into different subjects like economics, then environment, science and technology. So I used to write down the important terms mentioned in the newspaper. Like for example, if there is a mentioning about some economic if there is a mentioning about some economic concept in for example there was this the K-shaped recovery curves. So if there is a mentioning about that aspect in the newspaper, then I used to write down under the economics set in my newspaper in my notebook. So that's what I used to do with the newspaper. So I did not make very extensive notes out of newspaper, but I just used to take out the topics that I have to prepare for from the newspaper, and I used to make notes out of it. And also I also followed a compilation from an institute. So if you are reading a newspaper and also following a compilation, if you are doing these two together, I think that will suffice. So I would say you have to read the newspaper at the same time. If you are also getting help from, or if you're also making use of a compilation of an institute, I think these two will together be enough for all the stages. And for interview, actually, I did make extensive note out of newspaper because in interview, current affairs is very important. So you may be getting a lot of questions with regard to the current affairs. So for interview, I made extensive notes out of current affair out of newspaper. And for the first two stages, I actually relied on the compilation and also from the snippets I used to take down from the newspapers.
Thanks, madam. One request, madam. Please share your current affairs notes model.
Okay. 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 I will try. Okay.
Ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Hello.
Ma'am. Can we choose the different languages for answer writing for the GS papers and our optional geography, economics, and history?
Okay. Okay. I'm not completely sure about that. I think you can check. Okay. I'm not sure about that aspect with respect to optional and all. But I think that UPSC allows you to write the papers in any of the languages mentioned in the schedule, mentioned in the constitution. Like there are 22 languages and you can choose to write in any of the languages. But I would say you have to check with someone else. But I'm not completely sure about that.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
I'm Kashinathan from.
Ma'am.
Hello.
Can I continue?
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Kashinathan, go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. My question is: did you have your own study plan along with taking coaching from an institute? So, whether is there anything like that? Then, how did you manage the schedule of the coaching institute and your own plan?
Okay. Okay, since I have joined a coaching institute, what I actually followed was following their timetable and syllabus because in the morning we'll be having classes. So after that, during the night, I used to revise those notes. And normally during weekends, you'll also be having a test with regard to the subjects covered in the previous week. So what I did was I actually followed the timetable that they have given. And I think if you're following such a timetable diligently, then you'll be covering most of the aspects of the syllabus. So if you have a plan to join any institute or if you are following any of the test series, then try to follow their syllabus because once you follow the syllabus and once you complete the test as per their timetable, then I think most of the syllabus will be covered. So since I took coaching from an institute, I actually followed their timetable and tried to revise in the weekends especially. So I would say revision is very important because even if you study a subject for once or twice, there are high chances that you may forget it again because we are studying a lot of things, right? The syllabus is very huge. So I would say revision is very important and try to revise as much as possible and at least try to give some 5 to 6 revisions because I would say there are high chances that you may forget things. So I would say try to revise as much as possible. So even when you study, even while you're studying, try to give adequate amount of time within your plan for revision as well.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Hello,
you.
ma'am. My name is Vidyadhan and I'm from Kerala, Tirunelveli.
Okay.
Ma'am, I am a student of 12th. As a student of 12th, can you suggest how can I prepare for the examination as a routine?
Okay. I would say since you're in 12th standard, you can actually start reading a newspaper and try to get a general idea about the things that are happening around you. Try to get into a habit of reading a newspaper, and if it is possible, try to read an English newspaper. And I would say since you're in 12th standard, which I think it's very young, so you can actually focus on your studies. And if it is possible, try to read the NCRTs, like the lower class NCRTs, like of the 7th or 8th standard. You can also try reading the NCRTs. And since you have a lot of time, I think you can focus on the newspaper reading as well as covering the NCRTs.
A
And
very
also try
pleasant
to
good
enjoy
evening to all.
the.
And
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, which newspaper you used to read?
Okay, I used to read the Hindu. Okay, I used to read the Hindu.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you suggest some books for our preparation?
Okay, Advait, since you are in 12th standard, I think you have to focus on your academics. And then after completing 12th standard, after joining college, you can start by reading like the higher class NCRTs. If you're not having a science, if you're not having a nouns, if you're having a science background, then you can focus on reading the humanities NCRTs. Like for the class, you can read the class 11 and 12th economics and geography or history. So try to cover the NCRTs when you join the college, and also have the habit of reading the newspaper, because once you have this habit of reading the newspapers and once you cover the NCRTs, I think a very major chunk of the syllabus will get covered, or at least you will develop a kind of fundamental understanding about the things that you actually need to appear for the exam. So I would say rather than directly jumping into the actual books, you should try to have this habit of reading the newspaper, and also try to have this understanding about the NCRTs for the time being.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, how to use
Ma'am, hello.
engineering?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Sakshi, go ahead, Sakshi.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
How to manage engineering? How to manage engineering and this both simultaneously?
Can you repeat, Sakshi?
How to manage engineering and civil services exams?
Okay, how to manage both. Okay. Okay. Actually, while I was in college, as I said, I used to read the newspapers and I used to read the NCRTs. Since I had this thing in mind that I will be appearing the exam only after taking a 1 year break after completing PG, so I think I was less stressed about the preparation during my college time. But if you're actually planning to give examination directly after getting out of the college, then I would say try to make uh, most out of your weekends. Try to give more time, especially in your weekends, for preparing for civil services. And okay, if you're someone in your final year of the college, then you can start reading the basic books like the Lakshmikant for polity, or like the Spectrum for history. So you can always start reading these basic books if you are in the final year of college. But again, in the final year, things would be very hectic, right? So try to manage, try to have a balance between both. Especially, you can make use of your weekends for preparing for civil services, but at the same time, make sure that you are not preparing for UPSC at the cost of your academics. So I would say try to give very like try to focus on your academics. At the same time, try to bring out a balance, uh, not at the cost of the academics. So I would say try to bring out the balance and try to focus on the NCRTs and newspaper. I'm again stressing for these two aspects because I think these two are very crucial elements once you get into civil services. Because even when you study a lot of basic books, and even when we start appearing for the test series, we find that we actually lack on the fundamental concepts, and we actually lack in fundamental understanding of the concepts. So I would say focus on the NCRTs and try to follow the newspaper. And again, if you're able to bring a balance between your engineering and the UPSC preparation, try to do that. But don't do that at the cost of your academics. That's what personally I feel.
Radhika, just want to do a quick time check. We are already past 8 minutes past your time. Are you okay continuing?
Yes, ma'am. I'm okay. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am. This is
Hello.
Vijay. Firstly,
Okay.
congratulations on your success.
Thank
I have
you.
this question on answer writing and essay writing. Like you were saying that you are good, like you used to write essays and you like that. How you used to start the essays, like writing any famous, well-known saying or any short anecdote, something like that. Also, do you make use of anything like this? Any tips around answer writing? Did you follow anything like that?
Okay. Okay. With respect to the essay writing, actually, I used to write essays for competitions right from my childhood. So I had this habit of writing very long essays. But especially when it comes to the civil service preparation, you have to write the essays in a more structured manner. So I used to collect a lot of quotes. I usually used to start my essay with a quote, and also I used to end my essay with a quote. So I used to collect a lot of quotes, and also I used to collect examples from the newspapers as well. I used to use them in my essay as well. And for essay, I think if you want some tip with regard to the structuring of essay, I would say you can watch this class by Jayesh Khada sir in YouTube, which is available for free, I think, in YouTube. I actually followed his method completely to write essay. I think that the methods and the tips that he shares will help you to write a structured essay. So, and also apart from that, you have to collect a lot of quotes and try to collect examples. I also had a list of these philosophies, like in Buddhism we have this philosophy of middle path or Madhyam Marga. So like, and this we have from Gita, we have this idea of Nishkama Karma. So I think these are the ideas that you can actually mention in most of the essays. And these days, UPSC usually asks the philosophical essays a lot. So if you have this some philosophical ideologies in, like actually if you are preparing on some philosophical ideologies beforehand, that will definitely help you to write a good essay. So I would say try to focus on collecting the anecdotes, trying to focus on collecting the quotes, and I would say practice a lot because even when you first write an essay, you'll be having a lot of issues because normally the UPSC gives essay as like the question will be like a single quote in most of the case. So you have to address the various aspects within the ambit of that code. Like you have to write some arguments in support of that idea that UPSC says. Then you have to write some arguments against the idea. Like what are the possible arguments against that idea? Then you have to bring in some kind of a conclusion. So I would say you have to get into the habit of writing such long essays. I would say practice more because and in especially in this year, I think the marking in essay was very strict. I like personally, I used to score around 130, 140 in my essay in test series in institutes, but I actually got 97 this year in my final paper. So I would say practice more because always there are chances that UPSC may ask very random topics for you to write essay. So if you have this habit of writing the essays in such random topics, then that will definitely help you. And especially further with respect to the answer writing in mains, I would say practice is very important because even if you give a lot of even if you cover the syllabus, many times there are chances that UPSC may ask some questions out of the blue. For example, this year there was a question about the IMD and the weather markings that they have. So these are the questions that we pay attention during the prelims, but not during the mains. So even if you don't know the exact answer, you have to be in a position that you have to write some answers for that question. So you cannot leave a question entirely blank. in the final paper. So if you have this enough practice of essay writing, of answer writing, you'll be able to write a structured answer with the minimal knowledge that you have. So I would say practice answer writing, and at the same time try to get the help of a mentor, because when I actually started answer writing in my first attempt, I had a lot of issues. So I used to like my answers were not at all structured, and I was not using enough examples. And actually, in my second attempt, in my final paper, I scored around 410 marks in GS, which was comparatively very good. So I would say answer writing practice is very important. So, and also you have to get the help of a mentor. And yes, and also I would say you can watch some videos of toppers, like free videos of toppers in YouTube with regard to the structuring of answers, and with regard to how to make use of the examples. So I would say you can always watch the topper videos on answer writing. But at the end of the day, you have to practice a lot to develop this answer writing, because answer writing, I would say, it is a skill that you have to develop. You have to work on yourself to develop that skill. So I would say practice a lot. For both essay and answer writing, you have to practice a lot.
Oh, thank you so much, ma'am. That was great.
Ma'am, did you follow any online learning apps for cracking UPSC?
Okay. During my first attempt, I actually watched some like lessons on an academy. But during my second attempt, I did not use any of them, because I was actually getting a help. I actually had a lot of very good mentors at my institute. So I did not use any other apps during my second attempt. But in my first attempt, I think to prepare the notes and also to get clarity on some concepts, I used an academy. I think there is some channel called Sleepy Classes, I think, in YouTube. They explain concepts very well. So I'd say you can say whenever you find some concept difficult to understand, always use YouTube a lot, because YouTube have this. They use these diagrams and figures to explain concepts. So I think it will get imprinted to your mind once you watch YouTube videos. So try to use the social media platforms in such a way that it will add to your efforts. So I would say. I did not rely entirely on any apps, but I used to watch this YouTube randomly videos. Other than that, I did not use any other apps. Hello.
Good evening, everyone, and myself, Lohita.
Hello. Okay.
Ma'am, who is your ambition?
Hello. Can you repeat?
Ma'am, who is your ambition?
Okay. Do you mean what, this with respect to services, or like
Yes.
a role model?
Yes, ma'am, role model.
Okay. Actually, as I mentioned earlier, I used to meet a lot of civil servants in my school. Like my school is one of the largest girls' school in Asia. So we used to have a lot of government programs there. So I used to meet a lot of civil servants who come to inaugurate various programs at my school. So I think they were my actual inspiration. And after that, when I was in high school, I actually wanted to get into Indian Foreign Services. So I would say I really look up to Nirupama Rao, who was then Foreign Secretary of India. So I think she was a role model. And after that, I think we have a lot of very good officers. Like in Kerala, we have like collectors like Vasugi ma'am, then Anupama ma'am. So there are a lot of officers that I look up to in civil services.
Ma'am, what is your ambition?
Okay, my preference was IAS. Like you can actually give your service preference before UPSC, before the interview. So my first preference was IAS, but I won't be getting IAS this time because my rank is around 400. And my second preference was IFS, and third was Audit and Account Service. Lohita, is that what you asked? Like
nothing. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, did you use social media like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook like this during your preparation?
Okay. Actually, I didn't use any of them, but because I find that I had a Facebook account before, but I actually stopped using it because I was spending a lot of time unnecessarily into it. But there are also, but there's no, like, there are a lot of toppers who use a lot of social media platforms, and also if you are someone using like Facebook, you can also, you can follow these websites of ministries. So there are a lot of ways in which you can use the platforms in such a way that it will benefit your preparation. But make sure that, like, make sure that you're not spending too much time into those platforms. And if you feel that you are giving too much time into such platforms, you can always think about uninstalling them. But at the same time, if you're able to balance, like if you're following the ministry websites, or if you're able to uh, like if you're able to make use of such platforms for your preparation, then that will be very good. But I would say there is no need of complete isolation, but try to bring in a balance. And if you feel that you're not able, try to stop. But it will be better if you're if you're able to try, if you're bringing in a balance, I think that will be better rather than completely isolating yourself from those platforms.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Karthikeyan from Trivandrum.
Okay.
Ma'am, my question is, all around me are saying that we want to give diplomatic answers to the question which I'm asking at civil service interview. Is it right?
Okay. Yeah, actually, we have to give somewhat diplomatic answers because there are chances that you may get questions about some controversial topics. And sometimes the board will also become very argumentative. So in those times, I think if you're diplomatic and if you're very soft spoken and if you're not argumentative to them, then I think that will have a positive impression on the board. And also, but there are issues in which you have to take a stand. Like if you especially talk about the issue of like if you talk about the issue of the women boxers like agitating before the part before in New Delhi, then I think in that scenarios you can take a stand supporting the women boxers. But if there are some controversial issues in which the government is taking a particular stand and you are having a stand opposing it, then I think there are chances that the board may also get very argumentative about it. So I would say if you're taking a diplomatic stand, then it is less riskier, but at the same time, you can have a stand on a lot of issues. But the thing is that you have to present your stand, present your opinions in a gentle manner, in such a manner that you are not arguing with the board. So try to be less argumentative and try to be gentle when you give your opinions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, can we move to the next part, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering all the questions, and thank you all the participants for making this part of the session engaging by asking multidimensional questions. And now we can move on to the next part. I would like to invite Meera Rajivan, ma'am, National Program Director, SDF, to give a special address and talk about Vidyadhan Civil Services Club. She has over 22 years of experience in the IT industry, and she joined Vidyadhan 9 years back to build the Vidyadhan portal and scale up the program across India. Please.
Hi, thank you, Vivek. First of all, let me thank Aradhika, and I think it is time that all of us gives a round of applause to the wonderful session and the diplomatic way in which she handled all the questions. So I would like request everybody to unmute and give her a big clap.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody can mute now. Okay. Yeah. So I remember seeing Aradhika, remember seeing her picture and her achievements when we started Vidyadhan portal. So she was one of the first students who was in the batch when that came up for external sponsorship. And I remember seeing her 1,200 or 1,400 out of 1,400 marks in PU in the +2 examination. And I think the one person who is extremely happy and who probably is as proud as your family members would be Ramanand sir. Unfortunately, he is traveling and not able to join today. So he used to tell, she's going to be our first civil service member. I mean, he was very, very confident that you will make it. Okay, now I'm not going to take much time. I think the key lessons that I could take from Aradhika's experience, one is that she stressed over and over about hard work, about the need to balance, and about reading NCERT and newspapers, and having a right mentor. I think these were some of the messages she kept emphasizing throughout. Everything else will come later, and each one would have to come up with their balance. I just want to touch upon three things. One is that it is a long haul. So you are not going to, unlike our exams that we are used to for +2 or intermediate or, degree, you study for that semester and then you have to get the marks. Okay, and you have a very clear syllabus, limited syllabus. This is not going to be like that. Even extremely intelligent people like, Aradhika, or many of our collectors or current civil servants, they have all gone through multiple rounds of failures at various levels, and they have tried again and again. So that how do you overcome that fear of failure, and how do you prepare yourself for that long journey is extremely important for you to plan. And the second is, how do you plan for the financials? If you know it is going to be a long journey, it is going to be very important. How will you find the resources? The resources can be in terms of money. The resources can be in terms of the time. All this becomes very important. For example, you may feel that you can do everything at the same time. You can do your engineering, you can do your get a job, and then you can also meanwhile prepare for the universities, for the UPSC examination. You can do all that, but please remember, we have only 24 hours a day. And at every point, you just need to be clear what is the priority at that point of time. So Aradhika's view is that you should probably give more importance to your academics, whichever degree course that you are pursuing. Make sure that you achieve good marks in it, you have in-depth experience in it, and probably if that's the same subject you are going to pursue, that will really help you, for that. And if you know it is going to be a long journey, probably you will not put so much pressure on you by going and joining a very high-tech coaching program, paying a lot of money by borrowing, by taking loans or whatever. And then at the end of it, you realize that probably, maybe that was not exactly what you needed. Okay, so you have to, Aradhika mentioned about one year, a gap year she took when she tried on her own, and then she decided to join a coaching program. So for everybody, it is going to be different, but please do not think that just because you join some fancy coaching institutes, you are not going to make it. If that was the thing, then everybody from that institute would have cleared the examination, right? The fact is, out of 14 lakh students who wrote the preliminary examination this year, 14,000 students have cleared preliminary, roughly. Okay, so, so it's very important how you, where you are going to invest your time and effort, and when to invest the time and effort is equally important when you chart out your journey. So maybe in the final year, you can just write the examination to get a feel of how it is. But you can, do all the things that she was saying, like reading newspapers or writing your essays and improving your language. All these things in the time that you spend on other things, If you are very focused, you can do some of it as well. If you are very clear, you want to do UPSC. And I think it is important that, once you graduate, it is important that you do not depend on your parents for the kind of money that is required to prepare for the examination. Like I said, it is a long form. So you have to be clear, maybe work. I have met several students who have cleared this year's also. They are working part-time. Some are actually working full-time, making the money, saving the money to prepare for the 1 or 2 or 3 years of intense preparation that is required. So please, I would request you, please think about it. Please look at, whether this is the right thing for you to do, and come up with a plan that will work for you. That's extremely important. And I believe that it is also important to know when to stop. That's equally important. Maybe you try 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. I know people who have been preparing for PSC examination for 10 years, 11 years. So what happens, they haven't joined the workforce. They have completely lost out on joining some opportunity that was up there, maybe in private sector, maybe some other government jobs, but thinking that I'll do better, I'll do better, I'll do better. Okay, so it is important for you to know when to stop, because at the end of the day, being civil servant is not the only way you can succeed in life. So you just need to be clear when to stop trying. If you don't clear in, I cannot give an answer whether one is the 1 attempt, 2 attempt, 3 attempt, but likely most of the people would have done at least 2 to 3 attempts before they clear. Okay, so just keep that also in mind. Plan for it financially, plan for the time accordingly, so that you have the willpower and the muscle power and the financial power to complete the entire journey. That's the thing. Okay, so from Vidyadhan, starting this year, we are if you clear the preliminary examination, we will give the scholarship to some amount, depending on, we are still debating on that, for the till you complete mains. So we will be giving it in multiple phases. So till you complete mains, this is the amount. From mains to interview, this is the amount. And then, we will look at each case. We will look at how well you are progressing on that. And then we will support you with some amount of financial support. Okay. So the amount and all will depend very much on your in each individual case. Okay. So that's it. That's all I wanted to share. I would also request all of you to be, if you are serious about it, like Pankaj sir mentioned, please make sure that you are prompt in attending the classes or sessions. Be professional, show your commitment. If you are not able to attend, please inform in advance. Nobody is going to run after you and say, oh, why did you not attend, etc. Okay, please respect the time that everybody is spending into this. And, if you have exams or something, just tell that, yeah, for the next few classes, I will not be able to attend. So just inform in advance. Okay. And yeah, so that's all I had to share. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, all the best to your journey.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful words. Now, finally, I would like to invite Miss Jodi, our student from Karnataka, to give a vote of thanks. Jodi, would you come, please?
Yes. Good evening. It's been a very useful and, in fact, the need of the hour for all of us this 1 hour. When we work earnestly with an inspiring motive, then nature will bestow so many blessings and support on our path. As if a reflection, our Vidyadhan family initiated Vidyadhan Civil Services Club. My sincere thanks to Vidyadhan for giving such a facility to lit up the dreams of so many present here. I'm so grateful from the bottom of the heart. Special thanks to Pankaj sir, who spoke about Civil Service Club and who will be with us as if a tree to shelter us in UPSC sense, and along with that, to uplift us in all means to achieve in UPSC. Thank you, sir. So special, our first star in UPSC, Vidyadhan, came here with the hope to make a huge constellation of civil servants from Vidyadhan family. Thanks for all your words, ma'am, which serves as the torch on our path. Nice to see your journey and all the best for your further achievements, which make all of us to feel more gratefulness towards Vidyadhan and on civil service. Thank you, Aradhika ma'am. Thanks a lot, Meera madam, National Program Director Vidyadhan. Actually, I'm so pleased to know about when to stop. That was the most pleasing, ma'am. Thank you. Finally, students are not exceptional. Without this discipline and extremely engaged students, this conference cannot be successful. Thanks for your coordination, cooperation, and presence. And I hope we all together will make this conference more fruitful even than Vidyadhan's expectation. And sorry, I forgot to thank our program associates who worked a lot to organize it successfully. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jyoti, for the lovely vote of thanks.
I would also like to mention the fact that Vivek has taken the initiative to revive the club and for organizing the meeting. So a special thanks, wonderful job, Vivek, for arranging this.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, Vivek.
Thank you, sir. So, dear all Vidyadhan family members, as we conclude the Vidyadhan Civil Services Club's online session here, I express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you. Thank you all. Can we wind up here, ma'am? Yeah. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
All further information regarding Vidyadhan Civil Services Club will be posted in the group. I will post it. I will touch with you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.